Alright, we should be live. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Alright. Let me see. Can we hear the mic just fine? Hopefully we don't have any more muting issues today. My goodness. We need to figure this out. But also, I'm going to play some audio. So mic sounds good. Sweet. Okay, now let me do let me see, video check. Let me know if you can. I'm gonna mute the mic. Let me know if you can hear audio from this video. I was just holding my position. It shouldn't have frozen. I was doing stuff on the browser, so I held my position. But does that mean I'm pretty good at pretending like I froze? But yeah, did you hear the video audio at all? Because we had an issue last time when I was playing stuff from the browser. You guys couldn't hear it. You could only hear it through the mic, but... Let's try and get this audio stuff worked out. Sorry, I muted myself that time. How am I this much of a noob? Okay, you should be able to hear this audio now. I'm going to mute myself again so that the audio doesn't come through the mic, but you should be hearing this video audio.
I just leave and I come back and they're all done.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Okay, did you hear that from the video? It should have worked. Okay, we good. Ugh, so annoying. Because now the audio is going to be mixed together, and I record every stream I do just to make like YouTube shorts and stuff like that, and it's nice to have the audio tracks separated, but the only way it seems to work is if I blend them together. So then if I'm talking while something is playing, I can't separate them, which is kind of annoying, but I guess it is what it is. Okay, we're just chilling for a second here. How is everyone's Halloween, by the way? For those who celebrate Halloween, or like, you know, do Halloween-y stuff. Oh, let me see. I think I have some pictures I could share with the class. Let me see. Pictures. Okay. There we go. We went mall shopping or mall Halloweening, trick-or-treating, because the weather was pretty bad. Show you that. Okay. And I'll share that in a second, but let's see who was first in the chat. Test. Okay, mic is good. I'm so paranoid now that I have to now constantly look at the mic levels. But first in the house. Why is this not showing up? Hello? Comment highlighter. What are you doing, man? What you doing? First in the house was Kale. 130. Now Kale 1303. What up, Kale? We got Stang 2007. Who's dealing with a sick little one. So just hoping for the best for you to get through that. Unfortunately, little kids just be getting sick. Their immune system isn't fully developed, and they're kind of weak, unfortunately. But I hope your little one gets better soon. What up, Craig Lilly? Hello. We got Grayman Media. I was able to get PNY XLR XLRB. Isn't it accelerate? Oh, 8. XLRB, Accelerator 8. 8 looks like a B. 16 by 2 gigabyte RAM for $85 on August 20th. I should have gotten 2 more. Yeah, so I luckily picked up some memory right before the spike. Let me see if I can find it. I found this crazy Amazon open deal, which was less crazy back then, but let me see if I can find it. It was 32 gigs of 6000 CL30 used for like 50 something bucks. Oh, here it is. It was on Amazon resale. Yeah, this is crazy. And it, you know, compared to like the pricing that was like 80 bucks at the time, it wasn't too crazy, but given everything that's happened, this worked out to being like a crazy good deal. Let me see. But yeah, like, so this, I bought it in September, so coming up on 2 months, just because I was shopping for like used stuff on Amazon resale. And yeah, I ended up getting it for 58 bucks about, considering how much, oh wait, oh my god. No, do not let my dyslexia ADHD self just have gotten ripped off. Actually, this becomes normal pricing now. This is a 16 gig kit? Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you're scatterbrained. But I think it ends up working out fine. This is embarrassing. Where's that kit at? Where did I put it? It works out that 16 gigs for $58 is a good price right now, but that means I gotta move this RAM quickly so that I don't lose money on it. But let me check the kit. I could have sworn... No, please. Look, guys, I never claimed to be perfect. The pricing being on Amazon resale, and, you know, so being used, it made sense to me. Like, I guess in my mind, I told myself it was 32 gigs. And again, this was before the RAM price increased. So bad price back then. Now, I think this is still, this would make it a $114 32 gig kit if I can match something with it, which is a good price right now. But here it is. See, it was on Amazon resale, and my goodness, what a blunder, huh? It is 16 gigs. Well, nothing to show off about that except my noob mistake, but it works out that memory prices have gone crazy. So yeah, I need to pair something with that, and but I can't pair anything with it unless I get in the used market because RAM prices suck right now. Yeah, 32 for 57, that's what I thought it was, and this was before the prices went crazy. So it was like, oh, this kind of makes sense. It's an Amazon resale, that's why the discount was in there. But I bought a few months ago as well. Newegg was having a motherboard RAM combo, which it basically made it so that if you bought the motherboard, you got free RAM. So that ended up being a way better deal. Let me see if I can find that. And because this is DDR5, where did I put it? Because this is DDR5, it works out to be like investing in RAM if you're building a lot of systems is not a bad idea. Usually RAM isn't volatile. Hopefully the mic still sounds decent from that distance. But let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Where was it? And it was Corsair Vengeance too, which is kind of a crazy deal. I think Jason Whitmer was the one who put me onto it. But so I bought this combo. I think this was like $160 or $170, which is pretty close to the price of a motherboard, a B650 motherboard alone. But getting 32 gigs of 6000 CL30 Corsair of anything RGB RAM almost for free, or at least at like 20 or 30 bucks, And I bought this, I think either in August or September, around that time frame. You know, like, thank goodness I bought it when I did, because I have a feeling I'm gonna have to do builds for people in the coming holiday season, and just, you know, getting deals ahead of time like that became a good investment. But okay, back to saying hi to everybody. 2x6, yeah, 85 in August. That was good. That was a good price. Everyone is looking back now saying I should have bought more RAM. Kind of like when the first GPU apocalypse happened, everyone was like, I should have built sooner before it all went to crap. I will say, and we'll look at prices today, and maybe we'll put together a PC part picker list to see what the total is gonna be. But I think for the most part, the more budgety builders are being hit the most right now, because for people who were already gonna spend like $2,000 to $3,000 on their PC build, yeah, spending an extra $100 on RAM and maybe like $50 extra on SSDs isn't ideal. But percentage-wise, compared to the overall budget you were gonna spend anyways, it's not as big of a hit as people who are like building $800, $900, $1,000 systems, right? Where now that extra $100 just for that same RAM is a 10% increase, which is huge. So yeah, for the people who were always like building like with huge budgets anyways, it's like, I guess, less impactful. But I feel like a lot of people are more, especially with everything going on, you know, in the world right now, people are being a little bit more money conscious. So people who are building the more reasonably priced builds, this kind of sucks. Not as bad as the GPU apocalypse, because that was really bad. But this is, I think this is worse than previous RAM inflated prices. I'm trying to remember back to the 2016-ish, 2017-ish time frame when RAM prices increased. I don't remember it being this bad. I feel like around then, it felt like a 50-ish% markup. Right now, we're at like literally double the price. Jenamera Puffer, is DDR5 RAM really going up in price? Dang, so much for upgrading DDR5. I've been DDR4. I'm still on DDR4. I would not do a platform upgrade just for RAM, but I'm assuming you are gonna upgrade platforms also for like the CPU as well. But I feel like DDR4 is still pretty viable. We need to take a look at DDR4 prices too, because I feel like this is gonna have a ripple effect. More people are gonna hang on to their DDR4 systems, and then they're gonna, I feel like, dry up that supply. So we'll take a look at the pricing history of everything. I think I have my extension on, so we can take a look to see what's going up and down. What up, Helix Scream? Let me get caught up real quick. Muted frames. I mean, scalpers are going to keep doing what they're doing close to Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I bought my T-Force Delta kit for like 79 bucks. It's now 250 USD. Yeah, that's like a triple price or 200% increase, which is kind of crazy. It's not just RAM. Yeah, storage is going up as well. We'll take a look at all of that. But I'm fortunately shielded because doing what I do, not only on YouTube, but, you know, as a hobby and for friends and family, like I keep a decent stock of inventory on hand. So most of the stuff that I bought, I have not bought any RAM or SSDs since this crazy hike. But I haven't been building a ton, to be honest. But I do have enough stuff for like at least a few builds. So that'll hold me over for however long. Depends on what the demand is in the coming months. What up, Extreme Zone? Lately I've been buying used DDR4 memory to save money for AM4 builds. Yeah, buying used memory I've always been a fan of. I've never had issues with memory buying used. So we all knew it was going up, but Black Friday is around the corner. Maybe some good prices. I don't think Black Friday... I mean, Black Friday is what, 3 weeks away? I do not foresee Black Friday prices bringing prices back down to what it was a couple of months ago. I think Black Friday will have some relief, but I think prices are still going to be higher than people wanted. It's not like with the big shortage that kind of, it seemed to come out of nowhere. I mean, this news, the news of the RAM increase, I remember when we first talked about it on the stream, this was like maybe a month and a half ago. It didn't seem like too big of a deal. And even in the PC build video that I did in the Okino's case, I mentioned prices increasing, but even then it wasn't that bad. So this is actually pretty surprising how bad the pricing is continually getting. I thought it would kind of taper off and be like, okay, prices increase and now it's going to cap off. It's still like going up. So hopefully I don't want to say I told you so, but I am often telling people in my videos and watching the streams to buy when you need it, not when you think something else is coming around the corner or because you think price reductions will happen in the future, like with Black Friday sales and stuff like that. If you need something right now, buy it right now. And maybe not right now because of how bad it's gotten, but like, unless you didn't have the money for it, you should have just bought and built when you had the chance to. No hoodie, says Ant-Man. I'm actually wearing this. This is very warm. This is like a thermal. It's from Uniqlo, actually. We picked it up when we went mall shopping, trick-or-treating with the girls. But this is their ultra warm series of thermals. Kind of pricey, but my goodness, it is actually very warm. So I'm ready for the winter. I got the leggings on too. So I got the whole set. Uniqlo is not sponsoring the stream, but I do like Uniqlo. Their clothing fits me pretty well. They're pretty good quality, and the price is pretty decent for what it is. What up, Pete Dunn? How you doing? And how's everybody? Pete asks. What up, Hangman's Halo from Bothell? Hello, hello, hello. Wait. Candy bag toppers is what you need. Candy bag toppers. Candy bag toppers. I need to look this up now. We still talking about the candy. There it is. Yeah, that's what it was. Exactly. Wow. How did you even find what these were called? Yes. This is exactly what we were trying to put our finger on. Rough day at work, says Chris. Still not over. Just finished a 2-hour drive back on the field and got to head into a building to tone out and label some cable runs. Sorry to hear that, Chris. Good luck on your sale, though, on the graphics card. Hopefully it moves. Also, feel free to post it in my Discord server, too, on the buy, sell, trade. RAM crazy. Maybe I should sell mine while it's hot, lol. Like, I technically could sell my RAM. Actually, I don't know. We're gonna take a look at used market, like in my offer up in Facebook as well, because I'm curious. Like, not everybody is super like following, you know, tech news and stuff like that. A lot of people just have the computers and they don't follow like tech news and stuff that closely. So there might be some people who are upgrading or like changing out RAM or like just selling their systems and they aren't aware of what's going on. So you might still be able to snag some used DDR5 for cheap. What I think is unfortunate though is there are, I mean, everywhere you look, there's people like flipping and stuff, right? So I bet you there are a lot of people who are going to be snatching up any potentially cheap used DDR5 kits to flip into like, you know, PC builds or to just like flip straight up to sell for double the price and profiting off of it. But I would like to think that you might still be able to catch some used deals if you really need DDR5 RAM. I was literally talking to my brother about RAM prices since he's buying a PC this month, and we were shocked when. Oh, we should look at pre-builds too. So we gotta look at RAM prices, SSD prices, pre-builds, and used market. We got a lot of deal hunting, window shopping to do today. Newegg was having a weird shuffle, and they had RAM really good price. Okay, Newegg shuffle on RAM. That was not in my bingo cards like ever. Yeah, Newegg shuffle. What the only thing I remember them really having it for was for graphics cards. I don't think motherboards and CPUs and stuff has ever gotten this bad that they needed to do a shuffle like thing. That's kind of sad. I remember 8 years ago paying $80 for 8 gigabytes. 8 years ago, what was that? $80? That's yeah. So 8 years ago was 2017 when one of the RAM shortages happened. Oh. I wonder if my Newegg... Let me see my Newegg history of different... If I bought any new RAM back in 2016, 2017 during that shortage. Danny's doing the Punisher. No, please. Danny flipping Amazon reseller parts now? No. Why is RAM getting more expensive? AI servers and scalpers? Do you think scalpers are part of the equation? I guess when we take a look at the pricing, I want to look at who the sellers are. If they're third-party resellers or if it's like official. Scalpers. I guess I could see it being scalpers if they deplete the somewhat normal or reasonably priced RAM from, you know, all, like Newegg and Amazon and everywhere online, Best Buy, and then flipping it, causing like more of an artificial shortage that wouldn't have happened otherwise if people weren't freaking out and if scalpers didn't buy it all up. But it's kind of hard to get numbers on that. But I'll bring up the article. But for the most simple answer is AI. AI servers and the high demand for it. I mean, tariffs, supply and demand, yes, for sure. The whole tariffs, I don't know of much that have changed from now, between now and like 3 months ago, tariff-wise, that would have caused this price increase. Though it could be a thing that, you know, supply chain-wise, like, it just took a while for it to catch up. Any residual tariff effects, but... bought my RAM just for the shortest, 32 gigs, 6000 CL36 for 69. Nice. Not just nice for 69, but like that's a good price for that, for 32 gigs. I wonder how RAM prices are at Micro Center. Oh yeah, we can take a look at that too. Women wear leggings. Sorry, not leggings. What do you call these? Thermals? Long john-ish pants? Yes, not leggings. Thermals, that's what it is. Yes. Compression pants. Yes, all those words. I don't know why leggings first came to my mind. Sam Altman, thank you for shorting the memories. Hey, all this so that we could ask ChatGPT questions about, I don't know what. I mean, we all gotta admit though, right? To some degree, we have used any of these different large language models, whether it be Grok, ChatGPT, or any of the Copilot, any of the things to answer some of our stupid questions. Okay, so first things first, let's actually give me a second. Let me make sure nothing private is gonna be shown. Okay, so Halloween. These were the girls' costumes. You guys saw Mia in hers last week. I had her on the stream. You guys didn't see Lexi though. We just got them onesie pajama things so that they could wear it throughout winter as well. But they also make for pretty cute Halloween costumes. So we went to the mall. And my goodness, like, I don't know if this is... I haven't been mall trick-or-treating in a long time. But because it was very cold and raining and wet in Washington on Halloween this year, it seemed like everybody and their moms decided to go to the mall. Here's just one picture I took. Like, this mall is never this crowded. I have never seen this mall even half this crowded. But it just seems like, you know, parents didn't want their kids to be out in the rain and get cold and sick and stuff like that. So everybody brought their kids to the mall. And when we got there, there was like no candy left. I think 2 stores were able to give the girls candy. I have a picture of them in their buckets. But yeah, so they each had their own little bucket things. They got like some stickers from a couple of stores, and then 2 stores which were like the candy stores didn't run out of candy because they have like an infinite stock of candy. So they were able to get a couple of candy. So yeah. But yeah, they had their first Halloween, so that was pretty fun. Hopefully next year they will be walking and will be able to fully hold their own buckets and trick or treat and do all that without a stroller, but we will see. But yeah, so hope everyone had a good and safe Halloween. Let's see. Yeah, I took my son to the mall for Halloween one year when he was young. Yeah, I don't want to always go to the mall for Halloween. I would like for them to have a, you know, a typical experience trick-or-treating in a neighborhood, but the weather has to line up, and Washington is not known for great weather in the fall, so yeah. Is that Ranch 99? No. It was Alderwood Mall, which is nearby me. Yep, Alderwood Mall indeed. When I was a kid, I went house to house. Yeah, hopefully next year. I think last year I remember it being a little bit nicer, and then the year before that I think it was like really nice. So hopefully the girls get some pretty good weather in the upcoming years. I call it Ranch 99, to be honest. I know it's 99 Ranch. For the life of my whole entire life, I've called it Ranch 99. Let me look this up. Let me look this up. It's because of the logo. I'm gonna put in Ranch 99. See, the way I would read it, 99 Ranch, but a lot of the times it's written like this, Ranch 99. Okay, if they didn't want to confuse people, they should always make the signage like this, 99 Ranch Market. But it is often like, so for this one that makes sense, but when it's in the center, it's Ranch 99. So it's kind of like, I feel like it also rolls off the tongue better when you say Ranch 99 than 99 Ranch. So this is kind of like the GIF versus GIF thing. I know it's supposed to be GIF, but come on now, it's actually GIF. And I know it's supposed to be 99 Ranch, but come on now, it's actually Ranch 99. As for good deals before the tariffs, AliExpress had the best prices, but yeah, AliExpress is still can be hit or miss. Man, there's a lot of things we could potentially do today on stream, but we should focus on. I wanted to watch the Neo video. Do people care about the Neo robot? Like, I wanted to watch it, and like this was from the previous stream before. We didn't get time to. But it feels like everyone is so like hopped up on RAM. Do we save this for a different stream? Because this is still somewhat new news. And I think it's really interesting. But in terms of hot topics, it's all about memory right now. I would just call it Ranch Market. I think as long as people know what you're talking about, it's fine. Like, I think most people know that when you say Ranch 99 or 99 Ranch, they know what you're talking about. But okay, let's see. So, RAM situation. Everywhere you're looking, RAM prices are skyrocketing. When you purchase through our links to our site, we earn affiliate commission. Okay, blah, 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 blah. With global surge in AI demand, bleeding NAND and DRAM supplies dry, it was only a matter of time before regular consumers, PC builders, and hardware enthusiasts started to feel the pinch. Now a series of users reported, collated by Tom's Hardware And data trends, price tracking services like PC Part Picker confirmed staggering 100% or more price rise in RAM in online marketplaces. Someone in chat earlier just quoted they saw their RAM actually go up 200%, which 200% is triple the price. I know it's weird. You have to subtract 1 when you do the division. But global surge, and I think, when was this? This article was a month ago. So this isn't new by any means, but I think it's kind of just having a kind of like a slower staggering effect. And now it's kind of built up to the fact where I'm on a daily basis on Reddit seeing people say, what's up with RAM prices? As if they've been living under a rock, which a lot of people do live under a rock. They build their computer, they don't follow tech news, and then until the next time they need it, they don't care about it. But yeah, AI data centers are swallowing the world's memory and storage supply, setting the stage for pricing apocalypse that could last a decade. Okay, this sounds super doomer. Like, a decade? Oof. AI is not only taking all the jobs, but also taking all the RAM and NAND. Ah, my goodness. Can we, in the chat, list some good things that are coming about out of AI? It's really easy to hate and dunk on AI all the time, but there's like good things coming out of it, right? I know, like, this sucks, the amount of resources it takes, like water and all that stuff. Its impact on the environment sucks, but it's not like, I don't think AI is like 100% bad. Medical research. Yeah, that was probably one of the first ones that would have came to my mind. And I think AI gives you the ability to research something or fact check it reasonably well if you know the right input, right? It's all about the input. If you ask it the right things, it could be very helpful and beneficial to you. It could save you a lot of time from potentially having to research and go to like 4 or 5 different videos and forums and articles and stuff like that. It does a pretty good job, I've found, of summarizing things. And you can always ask it for the sources and all that to like back it up, similar like Wikipedia. Don't just trust what you read. Also, if something sounds a bit off, or if you want to double check, you could like ask for the resources. So it's not like completely junk and stupid. I know there is a bunch of bad, like, one of my least favorite things about AI is all the slop that is coming out of it, like AI written articles that are just blatant misinformation. All the slop on YouTube that's generated by AI and automation. You've seen those slop YouTube shorts and even full YouTube, like long form video channels. As a content creator, that to me really sucks. But that's kind of like not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, environmental impact, how much power it takes, all that stuff. So the RAM I got in June for 120 is now 270. Yeah, that's like a 225% increase, I think, if I'm doing that math right. 225 or 230, around there. AI has been an incredible boon for me personally. Yeah, no, I think there are plenty of people who are benefiting from just the overall umbrella term of AI. You can use AI for so many different things, and there's so many different like models and of stuff of different use cases. But I think we know for sure like all the mega corporations and stuff like that are benefiting from it, but from down to like a consumer or like an individual level, I think some of us regular folk are also able to use it in a beneficial way. So that's why I don't want to completely dunk on AI. It just kind of sucks right now that our favorite hobby of PC building and stuff like that is being affected by it in a negative way. Let's see what else people got. They'll make too much and the prices will drop when the market is saturated as always. You think there's gonna be an overcorrection? I don't know. Okay, let me see this. I don't remember reading this specific article. When the news first kind of broke, or everyone started writing about this, there was tons of articles written almost like every day from the different tech outlets. A decade. Let me see where this decade projection is coming from, because that's actually kind of a scary thought. Nearly every analyst firm and memory maker is now warning of looming NAND and DRAM shortages that will send SSD and memory prices skyrocketing over the coming months and years, with some... Okay, some predicting it will last a decade. That sounds kind of extreme. I don't know if I would put my money on that. Shortages are becoming impossible to ignore. Yep, for the better part of 2 years, shortage upgrades and have been a rare bright spot. Yeah, I mean, memory prices, not even for just 2 years. For like, I feel like the last, even throughout the pandemic, the prices didn't seem that touched. Yeah, SSD prices were an all-time low in 2023. Man, remember when you could get a terabyte for like $45? Those were the good days. Who stocked up? Who had the foresight to stock up? I personally enjoy AI. I ramped up my productivity to 200%. You can crack Wi-Fi passwords faster and get free Wi-Fi, lol. Other than that, nope, AI is all bad. Wow, I was not thinking about using it to crack passwords. I'm curious though how fast it could crack. I mean, it could probably only crack the like stuff that people have really poor passwords, right? I feel like just adding a couple of special characters, capitalizations, or increasing it by a couple of characters would drastically increase the compute time. But I've not thought of doing that. Goth anime Wi-Fi chat bots. Well, also this thing, right? AI is helping this. To be honest, we're not going to talk about this, I guess, because everyone cares about the RAM pricing. But this, as scary as it sounds, seems also kind of cool because this is literally what we were seeing in future, you know, movies and TV shows and stuff like Ex Machina and iRobot and everything like that. So to finally have robots assistants in our house, it's kind of crazy, kind of scary, but also kind of cool in the benefits from it. We're gonna have to see how it plays out because, you know, a lot of like, I think senior people would benefit the most from having a robot be able to help them out with stuff. Like, you know, people who are still of very like good health and, you know, a decently young age, you probably don't need a helper bot unless you're just rich and have more money to spend than you know what to do with. But I think for older people and you know, with people with disabilities and stuff like that, this helper robot could be hugely beneficial. But yeah, I think right now it's not even that AI. It's mostly, from what I was seeing, someone controlling it with the robot so that it can learn eventually. But yeah. Well, a good thing about AI is it gives a reason to hate AI. It gives us something to hate about. So then we can, I feel like, do you feel like we inherently always have to have something to be upset or mad about? You think that's true? From what I see online, based on like comments and videos and like social media and everything, it seems like people love to hate watch things and people love to have something to hate. We've seen this on YouTube specifically. A video reviewing a product that has a negative thumbnail and a negative title usually performs better than a lukewarm or positive version of itself. Like, and that's just the game. So, I mean, I've seen it firsthand that people want something to hate. So that's a good point, Craig Lilly. There are tons of good things. Problem is when greedy corporations are behind it. Medical, space, coding, security. Also in the future, in our heads as an avatar assistant. An avatar assistant. Speaking of that, I actually picked up a pair of the Meta glasses. Not for the AI features, but I have used it because I have it. I bought it mainly to record the girls as I'm playing with them. Like from a first-person view, so that I don't have to constantly have my phone out to record them. Like when I'm playing with them and taking care of them, I can just record them. But it does have built-in Meta AI features, so I randomly asked it questions just to test it out. And it is pretty cool to have AI, like, you know, it's not implanted in my head, but it's an AI device that's like pretty much with me all the time. I know we have that with our phones, but you know, we gotta pull our phones out of our pockets and stuff like that. Like having AI attached to your glasses or attached to you somehow where you don't have to physically pull it out and like put it away and stuff is something that I'm warming up to the idea of. It does drain the battery, so I don't use it a ton, but it's pretty interesting. I never thought smart wearable tech would be something that I would be interested in, but it just helps that my glasses insurance, my vision insurance, helped cover the cost of them. Otherwise, I would never have bought them. It's kind of expensive. Early detection of diseases, yeah. AI has been great for editing text, pictures, and video. One thing I've used AI for is on my phone is the like the image detection. You know when sometimes people post things as an image, but you really want the text out of it? Being able to use the, your phone so that actually is that even AI? I know Google calls it Google AI, but do you think it actually uses that much like machine learning power to take an image and recognize the text to let you copy it to your clipboard? But just small stuff like that, or asking it to find pictures of like, I'm like, hey, find all the pictures of cats in my photo album or whatever. Like, I think small stuff like that that we never used before we had AI is pretty useful. My wife uses AI for PhD to summarize readings and research articles. I guess a big problem with the slop is when AI starts using its own output as input, i.e. it eats its own waste. Kind of like, have you seen those videos of AI talking to each other? Like you set up two bots and then you have them have conversation back and forth and see where it goes. Every damn business is just using AI internally to make some fancy predictions of existing data they already have. Yeah. With the tariffs being dropped from China, we will see value RAM again soon. You talking about value? Well, we can actually take a look at, what's it called? AliExpress. Okay, so, but to wrap it up, because a lot of people are asking what's the reason for it. Mostly, AI servers, data centers, these companies, you know, they're investing so much in it. And the manufacturers, in terms of like the allocations, are focusing more on that because that's where the money's at rather than us, you know, lowly gamers. Let me see if there's anything tariff based in this article. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything mentioning tariffs when, let me see if tariffs is mentioned in this one too. Yeah, so no mention of tariffs. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that had some like effect on it. Now let's go take a look at pricing based on the history. Let's take a look at like a kit that we knew that was always pretty stable in price. Team Group Vulcan Z 6000. I would say this kit for the longest time has always been like my bread and butter go-to value RAM, especially when I'm doing builds that don't care about RGB. Let's take a look using that extension of the price history. Okay, so for the longest time, these were going for about 85 bucks. That sounds about right. I've bought numerous of these kits for that much. 85. We are sitting at $205 now, which is I think that's 150. So 100% increase would be what, 170? Yeah, so this is roughly, it's like 140% price increase. And before before Friday, last week, it wasn't even that bad. These are very distinct steps, right? It's not like it's spiking up and down within this range. It's like week after week, you have these very defined steps in pricing. So, it's not like these are, I guess like you get a little step down here, but it's not like it's, you know, a roller coaster up and down, which kind of signals that the trend is just going up and not, you know, not fluctuating back and forth. What else? Let me look at a different kit. Here's Crucial Pro. This one is 32 gigs. This one's not as bad, but the pricing trend on this one, give me a second. Hello? Are you gonna... This one is better, right? This one used to be, again, 85. So 85 for the, like, this whole last year, I feel like for non-RGB, kind of like value RAM, has been around $85, 85 to 90-ish. This one, it did see some spikes. Yeah, this one's kind of all over the place more of in the last week. But 145 compared to 8, yeah, so that's like a 175% increase about. It's not double. It's getting kind of close to double the price. But let me try to pick a different kit of RAM. King's Fury. Okay, so this one's a little bit slower, not 6000 CL30, but I would be okay, honestly, with this kit of RAM. Like, there's so many other bottlenecks in your system. The memory speeds and timings, they do make a difference, but when we're facing a situation like we are right now, I guess I would rather pick the Crucial kit, given that you can get better speeds. But if that wasn't available, like, I'm not a huge stickler on speeds and timings. You can get your gains elsewhere, especially when you don't have the opportunity to be choosy. But prices here, this kit, yeah, because it was slower for the longest time, it was only going for 50 to 53, 60 bucks, 50 to 60 bucks it looks like, and now it is well beyond double the price. Let's see this G-Skill 6000 CL36. This is going for $229. Ew. This is 32 gigs. And what was the pricing on this one? Yeah, again, 85-ish dollars down here, and now we're at well over 200 bucks. DDR4 used to be 35 to 45 bucks. Oh my goodness. I got some DDR4 on hand too. I always try to keep like a couple of kits of memory and like SSDs and stuff on hand. So let's look at DDR4 32 gigabyte. I feel like the Vengeance kit was usually pretty good. So this is 3200 CL16, pretty standard stuff. Yeah, for longest time. So 32 gigs was going for around 80 bucks. Now it's it did go up to 80. So this is a 150% increase up to 120, and then now it is well over 200% or 100% price increase from what it was months ago. Yeah, 185. I feel like we can find a cheaper kit. Here we go. These Rift Jaws. I bought so many of these. 145 for 3200 CL16. Again, normally around 75 bucks. Now double the price at almost 150. So this one is a little bit more reasonable. Not ideal, but at the end of the day, you gotta ask yourself, like, which apocalypse would you have preferred? This one or the GPU apocalypse? And I think we all know the answer to that. At least they're not happening at the same time, right? And then, yeah, we'll look at storage prices in a second. But when only one component is priced horribly, it's still somewhat manageable. If something happens down the line, and we don't know yet, right? Graphics cards, let me take a look at the graphics card pricing. Can we still get, like, I'm going to use the 9060 XT as a baseline. If we can find 16 gigabyte 9060 XTs for near MSRP, then that's a sign that graphics cards have not been affected yet. And, you know, because if it's just memory shortages in general, it could have ripple effects to here. So we could find cards for basically $10 to $20 within MSRP, which is kind of normal. And someone actually from the Discord server linked a pretty crazy deal. It was it Indecline? Who was that? General chat. No, it was Bug Arsonist. Let's see if this is still live. Lenovo, this was live earlier today, but they had this for $450, a 5070, which I don't care that it has 12 gigabytes of VRAM. A brand new 5070 for $450, to me, that is a good price for that product. But yeah, it was still live earlier, like around noon, I thought, but I guess enough people got to it. This is all to say that I'm not trying to scare people into like snatching up graphics cards right now if they need one, because prices could be affected due to just memory shortages in general. But I'm just saying, might be a good idea to not wait around till Black Friday or the refresh Super series from NVIDIA. We don't even have solid numbers or dates on that yet. People were initially estimating end of 2025. Now it's looking like they might announce at CES in 2026, but when they announce it, it doesn't even come out until potentially a month later. So yeah. I like Team Group because it uses Hynix. Memory only uses Hynix and Samsung. Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, it's either, who makes the Crucial again? Micron. What is it? Micron, Samsung, and SK Hynix make, like, the majority of the world supply of memory. And all the other brands just kind of slap their own heat sinks and logos on it. I need DDR5. I just sold my 32 gig 7200 for 150 SMH. Should have just waited, lol. You sold your 7200 mega transfer per second kit for 150? Why? And you need RAM, but you just sold RAM. So why did you sell it? Were you trying to upgrade to 64? SK Hynix China division restarted DDR4 production last spring. Okay. Nanya is the 4th largest after those 3. If you recall, I wonder what the market share is. I feel like every chart I've seen, if they are the 4th, it's still like a tiny part of the pie chart. Okay, let me see. Alright, let's look at SSD prices. So RAM is mega effed right now. Let's look at 1 terabyte NVMe drives. This is, I feel like, kind of the standard that you would put either 1 or 2 terabyte into like a new PC build you would be doing. So these were like $60 not too long ago. Well, not the Samsung ones. Let's look at like the Crucial P310, which is kind of a budget DRAM-less drive. So these are going for $95. Though 2 terabyte is definitely the better value here. So 2 terabyte, $134. Not too different than it was months ago. It was already like $125. It did dip. Wow, why did it dip? Oh, is this the Black Amazon Prime Week thingy? Yeah, so I think it went on sale that week. But let's look at the 1 terabyte, which is like way worse value per terabyte. So these were normally going for around $65. Yeah, that sounds about in the summer. 1 terabyte was about that much. Now we're looking at about a 50% price increase. So not as bad as memory is, but let's take a look at some of the other like budgety ones. What's the Kingston NB3? Another budget. Oops, come back. Okay, Kingston NB3. This one is going for 78. These were going for like $60. So now it's like almost 80. So that's like a 33% increase about a third of the price, $20 more. So I don't know if this is gonna get that much worse, because they were talking about SSDs or like both SSDs and like DRAM like even a month ago. So it's been a while since we've known that all these data centers are kind of like increasing in their demand, and allocations have been, you know, set aside for them and all that stuff. So I don't know if this is going to keep on projecting upwards. So in terms of like buying now versus waiting, or versus if it's going to trend back downwards, I'm not going to give my prediction because I don't want you guys to make a purchasing decision on this one and come back to me mad later if the prices do end up going down. But if I needed to buy stuff right now for like a new build, I would probably just buy it. $20 more than what it was. Not too bad. How do I find out which 3060 GPU you have? It's not in a PC. Huh? I don't understand this question. How do you find out what kind of 3060 it is if it's not in a PC? Usually, do I have a GPU laying around here somewhere? Here, actually, we'll just find a picture. GPU main board. So usually, if you look at graphics card main board, oh my god, how is it this hard to find a picture of the circuit board? There it is. So usually graphics cards either are near the connector. There's either some printed on the PCB itself. I probably should have put in PCB, but either printed on it or like a sticker. Usually there's some kind of marking. Let me see if I could find a better example of it. With the label, like, does this one have it? But yeah, if you can't plug it into a system and check, these examples aren't having it. I'm pretty sure I have some stuff on hand that do have it. My goodness, how is it that none of these have it? I mean, yeah, let me see. Bro, are they... Let me take a look. I could have sworn it was more common than this. Have they stopped putting stuff on graphics cards? Okay, so here's some old one. Ouch. Let me try to find a newer graphics card. Here we go. None of these are like super new, but ouch. Oh my goodness, I'm just like stepping all over everything. But okay, like, so here's an older one. So this is really old, so maybe this isn't the best example. You see down there? It says Gigabyte 70 R7 7850 OC. So that's what I was mainly talking about. But this card is like 10 years old, so probably not the best example. Here's another 10-year-old graphics card. But this one, a GTX 970, like if you look in the back, there's a sticker that says 04G P4, whatever serial number. That already in itself tells you it's a 4 gigabyte card or 3.5 gigabytes technically. But yeah, you could also put in the serial number, not the serial number like down here, but the part number, because each of these cards have like multiple various different SKUs. You can put this into Google and it'll pop up like the product page most likely with the with how much memory it actually has. Here's the 2080 Ti that I picked up a while ago, and on here again, yeah. So what the heck? Maybe it's actually, it seems like depending, but this was EVGA. I know not all companies put it on here, but look for some indicator on the card itself or the backplate to see if you can find it. But if not, then I mean, plug it into a system, like your own system, a friend's system, a family member system. Yeah, because I don't know if you're trying to buy this for yourself or you're trying to sell it, but yeah. Nanya sounds like Nunya, which was a joke when we were children. Something Nunya, yeah, Nunya business, you know. Okay, let's see. The Jimmy Chunga. I was in the market for a 5070 Ti, but honestly, I'm done. I'm sick of all this unnecessary volatility in the PC hardware market. I'm just gonna ride out my 5800X, still decently solid, and 6800 XT, also very solid. 32 gig, 3600 system out till it's dead. Honestly, what are 5070 Ti's going for? Didn't those get like a slight price reduction? Weren't we seeing those for like, are they 750? I thought we saw them as low as 700 on sale. I would be comfortable pairing a 5070 Ti with the 5800X and playing at either 4K or 1440p max out settings. And okay, sure, the CPU is still gonna bottleneck the 5070 Ti most likely, unless you really crank up like you know, the settings on like the most demanding games. But who cares? It will still give you a big performance bump up from a 6800 XT, and then you can just use it for as long as possible until you can get more affordable DDR5 RAM with your new CPU upgrade. Like, though again, the supers are around the corner. We don't know what those are going to be priced like, so not trying to give advice, but me personally, if I've been like kind of wanting a GPU upgrade with what you have right here, slotting in a 5070 Ti, which is not volatile right now, the pricing is about where it has been, you should be fine. I just picked up a PNY CS1030 1TB for 80 CAD or 57 USD on Amazon. Yeah, it's a budget drive, sure. I want it cheap. Dude, I don't know, man. But maybe it's just personal experience, but I've like never had problems with like speeds or reliability, longevity and stuff with any of these budget drives. And I buy them so much. Like pretty much anytime I'm building for friends or family, they are cheap as hell. So they're not trying to spend extra money for gains that won't be realized. The average person that uses their computer to just browse, play games and stuff like that, a budget drive versus a like, you know, fancy higher end drive with DRAM and all that stuff, that doesn't matter. Like you could switch it without them looking and they wouldn't know the difference. If you're into like video editing, you're transferring large files and stuff a lot, then of course it's going to make a difference. But I feel like the majority of people out there don't do that. Not a lot of people are power users. Like they mainly game and do other stuff. Like budget drives work perfectly fine. Obviously, if you can get a drive with cache for the same price or slightly more, you should go for it. But if there's like, if I see like a 25% price difference, I'm going to go with the budget drive. You can also use GPU-Z and try to give the BIOS. No, but I think they're trying to not plug in the graphics cards. Okay, so that is fine. Let's take a look at the secondary market. So we're going to go on OfferUp right now. And we're going to look locally to me, which has a pretty good DDR5 memory. It has a pretty good tech scene. So we're going to do most recent first. So DDR5 memory. 5 times Kingston Fury 32 gig kits for 110 bucks. This is more reasonable. 5200 is used though. We saw the kits for like 5200 kits for around 140. So you guys think this look, hairy legs. You think this person is taking advantage of the price hike increase? So they're selling 5 different 5200 kits. They're taking advantage of the situation, but they're not giving an outrageous price. Like based on the new norm, this is about what you should expect. If brand new costs 130 to 140 bucks, used RAM, because RAM is RAM and it's really hard for it to go bad, like that's about as much as I would expect a discount to be for buying used. I think, yeah, RAM, from what I've seen, has never really been like graphics cards and CPUs. It never really takes a big price hit because it's a pretty simple part, and most people don't like bother overclocking it, so like chances of it being damaged is kind of low. But yeah. It looks just 20. Yeah, so it does look like they did increase 170. Let's see what this is. 64 gigs. Wait, is this the same person? Garrick. Yes, it is the same person. Oh, let's see what they have to sell. We will click on their profile. 32 gigs for 150. This is 6,000. Okay, yep. Okay, why would you buy this new? Is this CL30? Goes for 170 brand new on Amazon, asking 150. Okay, this is used though, buddy. We can find brand new kits for that same price. This one, 1 terabyte 970 Evo Plus for 70 bucks. This doesn't seem, I mean, it's used. But this doesn't seem too outrageous. But this kit right here, 64 gigs for 170. Definitely better than what you can get on Amazon. All right, so this is one seller. Let's look at this person. 160 for 32 gigs. Posted 8 days ago. Is this brand new? Yeah, they originally listed for 200 bucks. Look at that. he's referencing Amazon price, so totally flipping. Yeah. This person had the audacity to list. Is this new or used? Barely used. I mean, how can you really tell if RAM has been barely used versus really used? I guess if you look at the pins, how many times it's been slotted in or out, you can see more markings, maybe. But to me, used is used. I don't know if I could trust someone's word that was barely used. This pricing doesn't seem too great, though. This one is 6,000 CL30. Okay, so, I mean, for the price, and this does look to be, this is RGB, G-Skill Trident, kind of considered slightly more premium. The price isn't bad. But yeah, definitely taking advantage of the increase, because you know these prices would have been less. Oh, let's look at this one. This one's DDR5 16 gig kit for 45 bucks. Not bad if you're okay with 16 gigs. Better than the price that I got from Amazon resale. Dang it. Happy to see you in the Linus Text video. Keep it up. Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. I'd say MSR price availability on the Supers is at least 6 months. Initial launch will have scarcity and scalping. Oh, you mean would be at least 6 months out from when they actually become available? Yeah. So, two things are going to happen. Or one of two things are going to happen. And this isn't like, you know, enlightening by any means. But some people need a reminder of like common sense, what common sense is going to tell us. If the Supers get released and they're not all the hype that I feel like they're pretty hyped up right now, right? People are like, oh my god, it's gonna have 24 gigabytes of video memory, like it's gonna make the 50 series non-supers kind of not even be worth it at all. So I feel like people are hyped for these cards just alone because of the VRAM capacity increase. But we know Nvidia has never really been one to give a ton of like to give us a really good deal with new launches. They always price things kind of accordingly to the benefits they give, like a linear increase. So if these cards come out and they are really good, they're going to be more expensive. So I don't think they're going to make the non-super cards like obsolete by any means. But if they come out and they are not what they're all cracked out to be, we don't know if the VRAM increases for sure. Let's say they don't do increase that, or just the performance overall isn't that great, then they're going to be priced similar to what exists right now, I think. So, yeah, I don't think, I'm not too hopeful that Nvidia is going to change public perception of what they have to offer for the price and value to the community. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes out of it, just because I think it's going to be interesting content or interesting, you know, streams and discourse. But I'm not going to hold my breath over it, and I'm not going to stop buying PC parts waiting for them. 24 gig cards will be $2,000. I don't think it'll be that extreme. But, I mean, just look at what NVIDIA does right now. For the 5060 Ti 8 gigabyte versus 16 gigabyte card, they could price a 16 gigabyte card somewhat more reasonable relative to the 8 gig. But they like, what is the price difference right now? Let's take a look. If we look at 5060 Ti, we'll just look at non 8 gig. So the cheapest 8 gig card is going to be Black Friday price protection. So non-refurbished, Zotac, okay. So 340 bucks, right? For the cheapest one. I think it's what, 420 blaze it, or what is the 16 gig card going for? I think it's like 400, so $60 more. No, we don't count refurbished. Never mind, that doesn't count. 16 gig, first 16 gig non-refurbished card, yeah, 420 ish. So I was close on the money. $80 more off of 320 is a 25% markup in price. If we take that same logic and they do a 25% markup in price of the 5070 or 5070 Ti's, you're talking about like at least $100 more for like 8 more gigabytes of VRAM. Which, I don't know, man. Having more VRAM is nice and all, but VRAM doesn't tell the entire story of a card's performance. Like, I could care less about, like, the VRAM has to make sense, right? It doesn't make sense to put 24 gigs of VRAM, in my opinion, on like a 5070 non-TI just because the performance isn't there to back it up. Like, sure, like, you can cache some more textures, but you're not going to be able to run it at like 4K where you would really want like that much crazy amount of VRAM. Or I guess if you're doing machine learning stuff on the side, you might care about that. But from a gaming exclusive perspective, it has to make sense. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. And yeah, if the prediction that Ben Zarino has is true, if it does hit it out of the park with the performance to the price and everything, they're gonna be sold out. They're gonna be scalped, kind of like what we just saw earlier this year. So yeah, if you really want to wait, you can. You can happily game at 1080p on 8 gigs at like medium to high settings. I agree with you there. Not everyone would agree with that take. I would say if you have money and you want to treat yourself and you know you want to get nicer things and get higher resolution settings, I'm not gonna fault or blame anyone for wanting to do that. But I always look at it in times like this where we have volatility, or in times like when the new cards are going to eventually release and there's going to be shortages and stuff like that, like having to revert to like basic resolution and settings temporarily, I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, you could take my PC away and say for a month you have to play on these settings, and I'm going to be like, okay, sure, it's a month, whatever, right? Even though with the shortages and volatility, it might be more of like quarters or half years. So, but still, I don't know, man. To me, playing games at lower settings and resolutions is better than not playing games at all. Like, infinitely better. So, that's how I look at the glass kind of half full. Last I checked, you can still buy a brand new RX 6500 4 gig. Who wants one of those? I feel like VRAM is good for future-proofing. I don't know what we're future-proofing against, though, when the VRAM doesn't match the power of the card, right? Like, okay, so the Intel Arc B580 is a perfect example of this. It's like, by all means, most people consider it an entry-level card. I say it could be approaching sort of mid-range, even though it's only $250. But like, 12 gigabytes was the perfect amount of VRAM to put in the B580. I feel like there are some people probably pushing for 16 gigs. I don't, like, there is no future-proofing, again, when the card itself isn't powerful enough to run these future games that we're trying to future-proof ourselves against. 16 gigabytes on a card like a B580, and I'm just using this as an example. There's more cards out there that you could look at this for and justify whether or not more VRAM is worth it or not. But like, I don't know who expects future-proofing for AAA games at like high resolutions and at high graphic settings for a $250 card to be able to like future-proof you 8 years into the future, right? Again, it has to make sense. For something like a 5070 Ti, yes, I think getting up to 24 gigs would actually be beneficial because it is a pretty pricey card already at $750. And again, for like a 5070, I don't know if pushing 18 or 24 gigabytes really makes, maybe 18, but 24 I think is like overkill. Like 16 gigabytes I think is a sweet spot for something like a $500 5070. So again, it has to make sense. I'm not one to just blanketly say everything needs more VRAM because we know the companies aren't giving it to us for free. They're going to charge you an extra $100 for it. And to me, $100 just for VRAM when the core of the card, like the die, the GPU die itself is limited to what it can do is not worth it. Question for the chat. Would you rather have an amazing gaming PC that can play anything but crappy internet? Or, that's a good question, really good internet and a bad PC? Ask Techie Tech 4826. I think that could be a poll. Thanks for the $5 super chat, by the way, Tech. Which would you rather have for the until the end of time? Let's just say reasonable PC. What do we consider bad internet? We're not talking like 56K, right? We're talking like DSL, and not that DSL, but like below, you know, cable and fiber. We gotta put numbers to this. Okay, no, Techie Tech, before I run this poll, we gotta put numbers to it. What is the up and down, like in terms of megabits, and then the price of the PC? So are we talking like $2,000 PC, and then 10 megabits up and down, and then like $400 PC fiber up and down, one gig? Because it's really hard when it's too open-ended. People don't really know what we're really asking. So yeah, I think 10 megabits per second up and down is the definition of pretty bad internet. And I don't know if that's my privilege speaking, because some people around the world may have worse than that. But I feel like in the US, if you have cable and fiber available to you, 10 up down is pretty bad. Yeah, but that's why we gotta like put numbers to this. Bro, I used to live on 2.2 megabits and it was good enough. It's good enough to play games, maybe. It might not be good enough to download games, which is the other boss that you have to beat. So, let's see. Well, which would you rather have? Okay, until the end of... which would you rather have? So, what are the prices of the PCs we're going to be putting on this? So, it sounds like people are thinking 10 megabytes per second up, down... and then $2,000 PC. So like, yeah, I think 2,000 would be would be considered a good PC. And then we're gonna have, let's make it not too extreme, right? We don't want to say like $200 or $300. How about $400 PC that has a dedicated graphic card? And then 1 gig. Mine is 35 down, up, 15 up. I'll go cry in a corner. Okay. So PC with the GPU. Okay, here's the poll. I've asked the poll. What would you rather have? A $2,000 PC, but you have to have 10 megabit up and down, or a $450 PC. This is probably assuming used parts because it does have a dedicated graphics card, but you get fiber speeds, 1 gig up and down. I have 2210 down and 110 up. I hate Australian internet. Comcast here does that. Comcast here is so asymmetric. Like Comcast here will give you 1 or like 700 down and like 25 up, which is so annoying as a content creator, not only for streams, but like when you're uploading video files to YouTube, it takes so long. Right now I have pretty symmetric, close to 1 gig up and down, so I'm so thankful for it, that we have fiber in our neighborhood. But yeah. Okay, more people would rather have the nice PC. I guess single player games are a thing, right? Not everybody is playing online, but I still, with that slow of internet and with everything kind of going like digital these days, you can't really buy box copies of games. And then like, even if you did buy a box copy, you still have to like download these gigantic patches. 10 up, down, oh man, you're basically running your Steam updates overnight. Even downloading drivers, which are like, I feel like AMD Adrenalin drivers can get up to like 700 megabytes these days. It's gonna take you a while. It's more than capable to play any game, But downloading and patching those games is another story. Hello? I thought someone was knocking the door, but maybe not. Okay, they're not. Having good internet, slow LAN port, cause of bad PC, or having high-speed LAN port but slow internet. I'd rather choose slow internet because it's much. No. But that's the question. The question isn't you get the $2,000 PC and then you can upgrade your internet. It's a hypothetical. So you're locked into the choices. It's like saying we'll give you a $2,000 PC, but we'll put you in some remote area of the world where the internet is limited and you have no options to upgrade. You cannot try to find some loopholes in this question. Otherwise, that makes the question no fun, right? Like, we're trying to see what people's preferences are. Yeah, yes, you are locked into the 10 megabits. Okay? No weaseling your way out of it. Why is single player in quotes? Are we talking about something else here? Are we talking about like doing homework on slow internet? Huh? Is that what we're talking about? I've been slowly eating the Halloween candy. And as you can see, some of my least favorites, except for the Snickers. I like Snickers, I just haven't touched it yet. I ate all the chocolates so fast. Like, because the fruit candy are so much sweeter. Like, it takes me longer to finish them. But we'll go for the Milky Way, one of my least favorite chocolates. So let's see, what are people saying so far? We got almost a 60-40 split. But more people prefer the $2,000 PC being limited to internet speeds. Which, again, like, yeah, once you have your games downloaded, you're probably going to be running it all day, overnight. But once you do have the game downloaded, you can play your single-player games on this amazing system with, like, the best resolution and graphics. So. There's no bite in a Milky Way. Like, when I bit through it, it was like biting through butter. I need either like a cookie or some nuts in here. Straight up biting through caramel and nougat, I don't know. It's like too pillowy for me. And it's even worse with the Three Musketeers, which is like all nougat. That's true. That's true, Flip. And I would not consider that a loophole in the system. With your $450 PC, with your 1 gig internet up down, I will allow you saying that you do it to play on cloud gaming. Because I feel like that's controversial in itself. Do you have an extension or something to see the price history on Amazon? Yeah. I forgot what the extension was called. Let me take a look at what it was. It was called Keepa, is what it was called. Keepa. The Amazon price tracker. So you just download this extension onto Firefox or Google Chrome. I need to get this on my Chrome, actually. I only have it on Firefox because we talked about it on stream. But let me actually get this on my Chrome before I forget. Extensions. Keepa. Oh, I do have it installed. I did get it last time. Okay, we're good. I am good. Who has 10 up, down? I don't know. This is the hypothetical. But I'm sure some people out there, especially people in more rural areas or in like other countries, some people are probably limited either by, you know, just the lack of availability or, you know, financial reasons to having that internet speed. Nope, you can't do this either. This is also a loophole I will not allow. Then go around to where internet is fast? No. No. Or even couch coops. Couch co-ops. Live in the woods with HughesNet and a $2,000 PC, or live in the city with gig and a PS4 level PC, lol. Yeah. I think, honestly, I think I would take the 450 PC. Dude, I grew up with crappy PC and crappy internet. We had 56K and I had like low-end PCs up until I was able to get money for college to splurge on my first gaming laptop. My first actual PC with like decent, like meant for gaming was a gaming laptop I got for college. But up until then, it was just using the family computer, which was pretty crappy, on 56K. We got DSL like my junior year of high school, and then my senior year of high school, we finally upgraded to Comcast cable internet. So my high school gaming and stuff like that, well, half of it was on 56K, a quarter of it was on DSL, which was, I guess for the time wasn't too bad, but then I finally hopped up on cable my senior year, and then that was like gaming on cable and being able to download stuff faster was like mind-blowing. Then I went to college, and then I stayed at the dorms where they had fast internet, so Battlefield 6 only needs a 5 megabit per second connection, and Fortnite only needs 3. Yeah. I mean, that's what they say, but I don't know who will actually have the ability to test this. But I feel like when it gets really busy and there's like a ton of other people on the map, do you think this is like a conservative estimate? That sounds kind of low. If someone only had 5 megabits per second and it was all allocated towards them, because you have to consider if you're in a household and people are streaming and stuff, your connection's got, or your speed's gonna be like split and stuff like that. But assuming you get all of it and you have like a dedicated 5 megabits to Battlefield 6, for some reason in my mind that feels like you might get some rubber banding or lag, but I don't know. I mean, if that's the number they gave and that's like a conservative estimate, and then that, to me, that's surprising. I mean, yes, I understand that when you're online gaming, like your computer is doing all the rendering of like the graphics, stuff like that, right? What you have to transfer over the internet is like, you know, player positioning, what the players are doing, etc. So it definitely doesn't take as fast of internet as some people think, probably, but 5 megabits still sounds like, for a brand new game like Battlefield 6, which, how big does the Battlefield 6, is that like 64 person lobbies, or is it bigger now? But it's just like, sounds like a very big multiplayer game. I wonder what WoW internet requires. Now you've got me wondering. World of Warcraft internet requirements. Minimum of 3. See, because on WoW, you're talking about an MMORPG where you could have like hundreds of players on the screen at the same time. Downloading one upload, functional, but then 50 and 5 is recommended for the best experience. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Assuming this AI overview is correct. Danny gets the Yaris Mobile 5090 PC and steals Wi-Fi from the big city to play solitaire. To the person who thought they would use cloud gaming, did you think about paying for the subscription? I forgot what we looked at the subscription rate, but isn't it like at least $9 a month? If not, but if you want like the more ultimate tier, it's closer to like 15 or 20 bucks. I mean, that wasn't part of the question, but if that's what they want to do, then they can. They probably did think about it. I don't think anyone thinks cloud gaming like that is free, so you want no nougat November, Danny? Cannot believe that the company put butyric acid into that chocolate and totally ruined the taste. Wait, what has butyric? Oh, my least favorite chocolate is Hershey's. As an Australian, they put butyric acid into that chocolate and ruins the taste. I don't know if I know what that tastes like. Okay, Techie Tech with another super chat. One more. Really amazing computer, but you have a crappy peripherals that break often, or really crappy PC with amazing peripherals and last forever. This one, okay, you gotta define breaks often. I don't know. I feel like this hypothetical is not as good as the other one because, like, what is crappy peripherals? We're talking about like Dell Office membrane keyboard and Dell Office mouse, and breaks like every week. Because if it breaks every week and you have to replace a $10 to $20 mouse keyboard set every single week, over time, it's going to start to be more expensive than the PC. So can we reword this one to make it more honed in? Because I feel like it's still way too open-ended for people to like make a good vote on. Stuff you find for free from the 90s break often, or stuff that lasts forever. Still though, like breaking often, I don't know if it still leaves it too open-ended, so you will get it for free. You don't have to pay for it. So you just find a bunch of free low-tier peripherals. Then it doesn't... Okay, how about we take the breaking out of the question? It doesn't need to technically break if you're always using a crappy peripheral. So you're essentially asking like $1 keyboard and mouse set from Temu with a good PC. It breaking to me has no relevance because you're saying you're going to keep on getting free ones to replace it. That just makes it more, the hypothetical more complicated for no reason. But, or really good peripherals with a cheaper PC. And you say really crappy PC. Is this PC crappier than the one we talked about earlier? Or are we talking about literal $200 PC? Because, again, the context definitely matters, and it will sway the votes, depending on how detailed we get it. Same level... I do not consider a $450 PC crappy by any means, but... okay, let me see. So I ended that poll. We'll start a new poll. Did it not show the poll results? Okay. Or, yeah, $400 PC. So we got, so $450 PC. And I'll put any peripherals you want. So that means like the nicest peripherals. You can choose your own, as expensive as you want. Or, so you say $2,000 PC, $1 crap tier Temu peripheral. Okay, what? Oh, AliExpress. So, we were talking about AliExpress earlier in the stream. People are thinking that, the value Wonder, memory is gonna come back. Let's take a look at, let's see, 32 gigabyte. Let's see what we got here on AliExpress. Here's AData. 16 gig kit. Oof, for a 115. That's not good. Kingston Fury. See, AliExpress... Wait, you're saying they're gonna... I haven't been following the tariff situation. PC electronics tariffs. Let's look in the news and see what we got going on with this. What is the latest news? Sort by this week. Taiwanese manufacturer gain traditional electronics strengthen. China to suspend 24 PC tariff on US goods but retain 10 PC levy. Is that what we're talking about? I forgot who it was in the chat that brought up the tariffs being potentially removed and stuff from AliExpress could be getting cheaper, but I'm not seeing a ton of news as of recent about that happening. Thoughts on Asia Horse? Was thinking about buying the Neota fans. Let's take a look at that while we try to figure out who had the deets on the tariff. Asia Horse, I think, is a fine company. Neota fans. Is there anything special about these fans? I mean, there's so many fans. We've talked about this before that it's hard to like really know how much specific fans, you know, stand out performance-wise against the others. For the most part, it's really hard to get bad fans. Even the budget fans, like, have a baseline level of performance that I consider pretty good. So, I'm guessing you want to choose these because of the looks mainly? Because unless these have some kind of crazy good performance that I'm not aware of. I'm trying to look at, so when I look at fans, price is probably the biggest parameter that I try to, you know, make my decisions off of. Next would probably be feature set in terms of, because I know performance is going to be there. The worst fans I've ever used, okay, maybe the worst fans are like, can be really bad, like really loud and, you know, wobbly and stuff. But like most fans aren't like the worst fans that could ever exist. Most fans are decent. And decent, especially when you're not running high-end components that, you know, you're pushing every degree. Most, you know, budget fans can cool mid-range components just fine. So I don't really care about baseline performance so long as it's not a product that knowingly is bad, which this fan, if it sucked, I would imagine there would be more like Reddit posts and like, you know, the rating would be at lower than 4 stars. The next thing I look at after price, which this one already is per fan, is kind of expensive in my opinion, because I'm guessing you're gonna buy at least 3. So we're talking about $45 for a set of black with some RGB trim fans. The second thing I look for is like, do they have the interconnectability to like reduce cable clutter and things like that? And I'm trying to see, does this thing have that? Like, do they have daisy chaining or like magnetic connections? Like, none of these pictures are telling me it has that. So for $15 for Asia Horse fans, which I've bought plenty of Asia Horse products over the years, they're fine, but I do consider them kind of like more of a budget brand. 15 sounds a little pricey from what I'm seeing here. I've never used these fans. I'm just going off of what I can find on the Amazon listing. I think they do look nice, but I never make fan purchasing decisions based off looks as the priority. It's always price, then like daisy chain ability and cable decluttering, and then I'll go for looks, or probably third. No, cooling performance and looks is like third and fourth. Look at their official website. Okay, they match my aesthetic perfectly. Wait, Peckish, you already filled up your PC with fans, I thought. Or have you not bought your fan? Didn't we talk about your fans like 2 or 3 streams ago? I could have sworn we talked about these fans, or at least populating your bottom of your case. Have you just not bought the fans yet? 3-pack for $40. Okay, what are we looking at here? Okay, they got the reverse blades, which is nice aesthetically if you need that. How do none of these product pictures like actually show if... So yes, I do understand it has reverse blade. Where's the cable decluttering? Unique design aesthetics, not functional. Okay, cable crap. I gotta control finding this. I just control finded cable. It was like 10 streams ago. Oh my god. And you still haven't bought fans. Okay, look. I press Control F, you see down here. Here, can I move this? Where's my camera? I just control find cable. There is no mention of this thing having the ability to reduce your clutter. Is this right? Am I correct in seeing this? Or they do not have cable, but the Dons do? I feel like if you're spending on a non-major brand, major brand being like, you know, Noctua, Corsair, like Asia Horse, I consider them kind of a more secondary Asia brand, which there's nothing wrong with that. We love Asia. That's where we get our cheap computer parts from. But I consider them like a second, the next tier down from like all the biggest brands, which is a good thing because they'll sell stuff to us for cheaper, right? Like Corsair and Noctua, all their fans are freaking expensive. But I feel like for $14, you should be able to get one with cable declutter with a similar look and all the stuff that you're looking for. I don't know off the top of my head, but I feel like you should be able to find a fan for the same price with more features. Cables aren't an issue for you. If they're not an issue, see, you're wanting me to approve of this purchase, it sounds like. Because I think I would continue looking. I would not settle for this fan just based on the price and everything in the description alone. But it's all personal preference at the end of the day. If you like it, go for it. 1 gigabit per second internet causes so much than $2,000 PC in terms of longevity, and having to pay for cloud gaming is, I don't know. Let's see. It was me. Trump said he was dropping tariffs. Okay, let me actually look up that specifically. Trump tariff. And we'll look at news within the last week again. Past week. Supreme Court case challenging Trump's tariff authority. Supreme Court enters lines then on Trump's tariff. Tariff case puts Supreme Court conservatives in bind. Okay, so there has been a lot of recent news about tariffs. Let's take a look at... let's see. Supreme Court hears argument on Wednesday in consequential case with potential profound economic consequences. My God. Can they just get to the point without this word salad? The issue is tariffs, okay? President Trump proclaimed what he called Liberation Day, a day that would be remembered. Okay, oh my God, this guy. Carrying out his campaign pledge to impose massive tariffs on foreign imports. Trump issued an executive order that initially imposed tariffs at least 10%. Okay, yeah, so this is the backstory, right? We already know about this. 25 Canada's rate lower. The interview. Trump credited tariffs with the deal he just negotiated with China, boasting that without tariffs, China would not have come to the table. Okay, so where's the lowering or removal of tariffs, though? That's what I'm looking for. But the up and down, fluctuating tariffs. Okay. Supreme Court has been largely receptive of Trump's claims. Full briefing, expert arguments in the case, and offering the justice first opportunity to say no to the president. So it doesn't sound like, unless Trump is like playing ball, it sounds like the Supreme Court is the one who wants to get rid of the tariffs. And if Trump says he's getting rid of it and playing ball, then that would go along with what you were saying. The thing is, there's such a misconception out there that foreign entities are paying the tariffs, he says, adding, I can't say this enough times, Americans are paying the taxes. We know, okay, yeah, that's not Trump saying that for sure. Because Trump seems to think that the other countries are going to be paying for it, and we know that was not the case, because that literally happened, and all of our prices went up. Okay, so Trump's views. It's Trump who sees tariffs as potentially bringing in trillions of dollars. Okay, so what article do I need to be looking at where it says Trump is going along with the idea of removing tariffs? Because I am not really seeing it. I'm seeing Supreme Court versus Trump on this, and it seems like Trump is not trying to back down. So let me see. It was just 90-day period, so just a temporary lift or temporary pause. 90. Let me see if I can find that. 90-day tariff Trump. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm putting in the right keywords that we should be able to find these articles. And it's not that I don't believe you guys, right? It's just I want to see like when this was. Trump tariff live updates. Trump says China can't have top AI chips. Yeah, so like 90 days. I don't even know if I can find anything regarding. Okay, since early April, Trump has implemented or threatened sweeping tariffs on nearly all products for almost all countries. However, most were paused for 90 days on April 8th. And 90 days has already been paused. And it did not pause for China back in April. So we're thinking the upcoming pause. Do we have a date on that for anyone who has seen these articles that I seemingly can't find? U.S. has agreed to expedite the case with oral argument scheduled for early November. Yeah, see, I'm not seeing this 90-day pause coming anytime soon. Check out his meeting with Z. Trump Z tariff pause meeting. Like, Okay. Yes, I do. I know he had a meeting with him. Trump breaking the China strategy isn't working despite the global collateral damage. This is Fortune. Despite global collateral damage, only modest progress has been being made with China. Okay, so let's see if there's anything mentioned of tariffs. Like, okay, both are correct. The meeting was for far more consequential than these viewpoints permit, and not just because U.S. 100% tariff threat. Okay, his tariff tirade made it impossible to build a strong. Okay. I mean, if you want to link the article, because this is seemingly harder to find. I mean, if I look into it more after stream or something, I could probably eventually find it. But I mean, we've been trying to do this for like a bit now, and if it's as big of news as it seemingly is, a 90-day pause on the tariffs with China, I feel like that would be breaking news, and every outlet would be covering it, and we'd find it in like a split second on Google. Like, I'm having to dig, so yeah, I'm not seeing anything about this that's at least what's it called? Like, firm. If anything, this sounds like this might be wishy-washy hearsay, but I don't know. Thing is, there's kind of a gag order on that. Everything has been word orders issued by Trump so far. Are you talking about how he like refuses to talk to the media because they won't say exactly what he wants them to say and make him look only good? Is that what you're referring to, or are you referring to something else? Like, for anything coming out of like the coverage for it, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, I don't remember, and I'm not the oldest person in the room, right? I'm only in my mid-30s, but I don't ever remember there ever being a precedent set like this, where a president refused to talk to the media because they were butthurt that, you know, they didn't report the way that they wanted to. Any other president in the past, it doesn't matter Republican or Democrat, right? They would still talk to the media, and all sides of the media. So Word is Z made him look, dude, he makes himself look silly like every single day. And I feel like I feel like that's a bipartisan opinion, that Trump is mentally declining and is just word vomiting and just saying whatever, and he sounds like a cuckoo crazy grandpa, like, oh, every single day that passes. Like, you would have to be turning a blind eye to it if you think it's the other case. And this isn't me trying to, like, you know, split it down the aisle politically or anything. Like, I also agree, Joe Biden should not have run again and drop out at the last minute, and he was also on the mental decline. Like, I'm not trying to play one side or the other. It's just the political climate in the US sucks ass right now, and I think people need to wake up to that and stop playing tribalism and not seeing if their own side is doing stuff wrong. Politics on stream? How dare me? I know, how dare I have an opinion on stuff that literally affect us on a day-to-day basis, where there's a government shutdown, we're basically in a recession, grocery prices are as high as ever, housing is not affordable. I know we talk about PCs and lighter topics and gaming and like deal hunting and stuff for the most part, but at some point, like, I think a lot of people are kind of okay with the way things are going is because it hasn't affected them yet. Like, I am not the person who is super affected by everything going on politically in this country right now. You know, my wife and I, we are in a pretty good situation. Like, we haven't lost our jobs. We both have like college degrees. We're able to get, you know, pretty good paying jobs, things like that. We have it pretty good, but there's a lot of people who don't have it good and are struggling and having food stamps taken away from them, having healthcare taken away from them. Like, why is this a partisan thing? So with regards to the tariffs though, I can't see anything that spells like positivity in terms of PC parts of all things to talk about, right? Yeah. So unless you can link an article, like I think I'm not gonna look for it anymore. It's not that I don't want to find it. Again, like if we can have a relief on some of the things that we enjoy in life, that's a good thing. But I can't find it, and we've been looking at like multiple articles and multiple Google searches. So I don't know where that information was coming from, and if it's reliable or not. George Norman X says, "Hey Danny, big fan. I'm an owner of a gaming lounge. I'm an owner of gaming lounge. You talking about like a LAN center type thing? Or is gaming lounge something else? And as an owner, I decided to learn PC building. You inspired me, and thanks to you, I think I broke a record. I built. Wait, what? You broke record? I built GTX 1660 Super, 16 gig RAM, 3K megahertz. What record? SATA Ryzen. Oh, you broke the record for like building the cheapest crazy value PC. SATA Ryzen 5500, 650 PSU. Where are you from? Are you from the US or are you from a different country? Because that's gonna influence my guess of how much you built. 1660 Super. I feel like if you really deal hunted, without getting free stuff, you could build a 1660 Super Ryzen 5500 system for like $200. You're from Portugal. Okay. Ooh, I mean, I'm gonna say 200 USD. I don't know how that converts to your currency, but yeah. I come here and I understand. I think for the most part, I've been really good given the last however long I've been streaming and how much shit is going on in the world, politics wise, right? Like I, for the most part, keep politics out of it. But with regard when stuff like tariffs come up, it's kind of hard to avoid it. And I should move on. Why do I have this huge picture of Trump and Z on the screen for the longest time? And I understand where you're coming from, right? There definitely needs to be places where we can go where we could get away from the crap that's happening in our, not just around the world, but our own country. Everyone does have their own opinion, and you come here to escape that and to talk about PC tech and stuff like that. But there's that saying, you may not fuck with politics, but politics will definitely fuck with you, right? So as much as we do want to ignore it, and we will move on, just don't completely ignore it to the point where you're like not voting and stuff like that, because if you don't, then you can't complain. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Like it sucks that it's already shoved down our throats in mainstream media and all that, and social media these days. You can't go on Twitter and Reddit without running into that stuff. So I know, right? I don't curse for anything. In any video that you've seen in most of my streams, I don't curse, but it's getting pretty bad. Like yeah. Let's not talk about the ICE raids that have started in Washington State, because apparently people have certain opinions on that. It is my streaming. I can talk about whatever I want. That's true. But I'm pretty sure people don't want to hear me talk about politics all stream. Like, I think sprinkled in here and there when it relates to PC hardware, it's fine. But I do not... actually, it would be so easy to become a political grifter on either side of the aisle, because people have started to resort to that to make hella money. Like, streamers like Asmongold just becoming a political grifter all of a sudden and getting, like, an explosive viewer count increase. If I wanted to fix my viewer count increase, I could just pick one aisle to go to, become a political grifter, and I could probably become a millionaire in the next decade by chasing that instead of building budget PCs. But yeah. No, what do you think about the Jungle Leopard Interstellar? I have not seen these. What are these? finally back. Another failure to do what I wanted to do. Sounds like a huge pain in the butt, Chris. I'm sorry. Jungle Leopard Interstellar Reverse. Okay. I have not heard of this thing. Alright, what is this? Is this an AI video? What is this?
And it's got a 2-year warranty.
Nope, okay, it's not an AI video. Okay. Wait, is there a product page for this? Jungle Leopard fans. This is the Galaxy. Where's the Interstellar? Danny, did you try to talk with your IT people very much when you use to work? Yeah. In terms of, did I have to talk to IT people over the years? Not specifically for... Actually, I don't think so. Maybe once or twice every time the laptop needed to be re-imaged. Just because they like, you know, the way that a company re-images a computer is different than how like we would do it at home. Like, they're not gonna let me stick in a thumb drive and do all that, right? They do all the backing up and they handle all of that. So I think that's the only time I really need to talk to them. Any other time, like with computer issues, I never really had laptop issues with my work laptop. And then if there's ever a networking issue, it was always something that was like, you know, like building wide or something. So it wasn't a specific problem to my work computer ever. It was like, oh, you know, the servers are down in general. So yeah, I never really had to do much interfacing with the IT team at work. You didn't try to be their friend? No. The IT from work, let me think about it. They were usually older people, and not that I'm not down to make friends with older people, but it definitely, I don't recall seeing people my age, you know? It's often, it seems like, it was like definitely older people, so I'm not sure if I would have made friends with them, because I don't know if they are even into like gaming PCs and stuff like that. Not everyone who's in IT is interested in like, you know, personal home computers and gaming builds and stuff like that, so. It's a cheaper alternative. Okay, here it is. Is it really a cheaper alternative? Let me look at this one. 30 bucks for a triple pack. Block fan. Okay, pressure, all that stuff. Yeah, it looks like it has those special connectors. Jigsaw puzzle. Easy spicing for personalized cooling layouts. Increased airflow. Jigsaw puzzle. Magnetic power. So it has like magnetic connectors it can lock in and stuff. This is more of what I was looking for compared to the other ones. But this one doesn't have black fan blades compared to the Asia Horse. And some people don't like their fan blades illuminating like this. But for 30 bucks, I mean, it's got, I think it looks pretty good. It's got RGB and it's got, you know, cable decluttering. So, yeah, this looks like a pretty good value, but Jungle Leopard, huh? Very interesting brand. That's the actual brand, Jungle Leopard, or is this the whole model? Jungle Leopard. Yep, it's the Jungle Leopard store. Interesting. If anyone wants to burst out laughing, spam the right arrow on your keyboard while focused on Noob's stream. What happens? Because doesn't it just fast forward to the end of the stream or the most current point? What happens? I could look that up myself. Let's see. We're gonna look at this together. We're gonna look. Oh, that's it? Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed was going to happen. Okay. Unless something I was saying earlier what made it funnier, but that's about what I was expecting. Okay. In decline, yo, I'm back. Had to run to Carl's Jr. for 2 Westerns for $9. It has been years since I've had Carl's Jr. I don't know why we have one up the street, but I don't go to it. Yeah, it's insanely small amount of us that are actually PC what? PC phalange? What word is this, Chris? Older spelling of falling. Still, in that action of moving downward, dropping, or wait. Yeah, it's insanely... It's small amount... in that context, that didn't make sense to me, though. A small amount of us are actual PC falling or hardware enthusiasts. Oh, gaming! Okay, I was like, what are you trying to say, Chris? Because it kind of could make sense in the context if you were trying to say, like, people... The amount of people in IT who are interested in PC hardware is, like, in a downward trend or descending. It could have made sense, but okay, yeah. I have Jungle Leopard prisms, 140mm. They're reliable and work well. Yeah, so, I mean, it goes back to, like, what I was saying before. Like, most fans just work fine. Most fans, there's no issues with, even if they're, like, you know, an unknown Asia brand, because most of these fans are made over there anyways. But, unless a product, unless you can do a Google search and find overwhelmingly negative reviews or negative forum and Reddit posts and YouTube videos and stuff about something being bad, I just kind of assume fans are what they are. They're fans, they work, they blow some air, and yeah, they won't have a problem. A fan is a relatively, like, safe thing to gamble on because it's not the most expensive thing in the world, and it's a pretty basic part in the grand scheme of things. If you're going to compare it to, like, a motherboard, CPU, graphics card, power supply, right? A fan is like a spinning hub with some, like, bearings on a thing that receives some power and it spins. I feel like it's kind of hard to really mess that up. So in terms of, like, making a decision to buy fans, that's why price is, like, my number one thing. I do care about fan noise, but I've used so many fans over the years, and I haven't really found fans to be that much more loud, you know, from brand to brand. Thoughts on the ID cooling what is this? FRX 360 LCD. Oh, okay. So, I mean, I'm always a fan of cheaper LCD coolers. $100 though? I guess if you don't like the Thermalright, I feel like, see, Thermalright, even though I don't have brand loyalty per se, I do like Thermalright's pricing. But if you're looking for a different aesthetic, because I'll be honest, I wish the Thermalright blocks, their pump blocks, had less of a, like, a bezel, right? It's kind of like ratio of block to screen isn't the best on all the models they have. It's like got really thick edges all around. Yeah, see, like ratio of screen to that is not as good as, like, say Corsair or like NZXT, who are probably some of the bigger names when it comes to LCD coolers. This one though, I think okay, maybe, yeah. It's a little better, I think, than the Thermalright. It looks cleaner, for sure. It's just like a simple RGB ring with this. You can set it to a solid color. Yeah, the Thermalright one is like, are you trying to... You know when they make rugged phone cases? Or, like, trying to say, like, military-grade, rugged iPhone case. This is the aesthetic I think of. Kind of like those OtterBox phone cases. So, if you like it, then sure. But it's... To me, it is a little bit overly built or overly designed aesthetically. I'm much more of a fan of the simpler LCD blocks like this one. They're about the same price, $100 versus like $90 on this one, right? Oh, no, this one's 80. So if you're someone who has the money to spend on an LCD cooler and cares about aesthetics, is going to be willing to pay a $10 to $20 difference for their own whatever they prefer. So between the two, I think they're both probably equally or nearly as good of coolers. And I would just buy, I would be down to buy this one if someone I knew wanted an all-white build with the LCD AIO. And I would be down to buy this one if someone I knew was trying to save money and wanted an LCD AIO. So yeah, I think they both are fine. Like, I don't think, like, without the need to test them, like we saw before, all these Asian companies or these non-big brands, they make perfectly fine products. Can you play Doom on the LCD? I don't think so. Most of these LCDs are USB 2.0 based, from what I've seen. I don't know of any of them that are like mini HDMI or USB-C. I think to like actually use it as a usable screen, like an extension of your desktop, you need more data throughput. And yeah, most of these are usually USB 2. I'm using a Frozen Warframe TR Thermalright. Thermalright Frozen Warframe, okay. Is this thing on Amazon? Frozen Warframe, FW, I guess. Oh, here we go. My God, they have so many different LCD coolers already. Dang, Thermalright on top of it. This one, okay, do they have a front-on shot of it though? I guess not, but this is good enough. This one has a little bit better of a screen to block ratio. There's actually a pretty big screen from this image that I can see anyways. Huh, how much is this one? $88, my God, Thermalright. And you can rotate. You know how long it took some of these other brands that had these coolers for like $200+ to be able to rotate? Like to add that ability? Thermalright is just going right in on the value here and features. Wow. 450 nits, 24-bit true color, 320 by 320, and you can rotate. And their software is looking pretty good. I mean, ID Cooling is, when I say huge brand, I don't just mean by how many products that they sell. I'm talking about like traditionally, I'm thinking of like US based huge brands, but just traditionally in the PC space too. ID Cooling and Thermalright and all of the, well, Thermalright's been around for a while, but like, I'm talking, I guess, more of legacy brands. I shouldn't have said huge. I'm talking about like the Thermaltakes, the Corsairs, and all the other brands that people usually associate with like first tier brands, I guess, that are usually more expensive. ID Cooling and Thermalright and all these other brands, I'm not saying that they're bad by any means, but they're like companies that kind of just focus on doing this. And I don't even know where Thermalright is based out of. Thermalright headquarters. But I don't think anyone's gonna argue that saying like Thermalright and ID Cooling are smaller brands than Corsair and Noctua. Is anyone gonna really argue that? Yep, Thermalright is Taiwan. Yeah. Thermalright Wonder Vision. Wonder Vision 360. English, please. Oh my God, they've even gotten into these screens. The thing with like, what is that other brand that has the one of this? How much is this thing? Thermalright straight up taking, and I don't know if they actually took the idea or are copying it. 205. Wow. So, wow. I wasn't expecting it to be this much. But the other, what's the main brand, the first brand to do this curved screen thingy? I can't think of it off the top of my head. What was it called? Was it the Trix? Yeah, it was this one, right? But I mean, they were selling it for $400. They actually reached out to try to do a sponsorship, and I was like, bro, you know how much I'm gonna get raked through the coals for trying to even promote a $300 AIO like this? But do y'all like this? I don't like. I guess it's unique and new, but like I do not care about having an LCD screen with a radius curve like this. Then this is me personally, right? Like one screen that is facing out of the PC is good enough for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because this is newer. It might eventually become the norm. But this, to me, looks ugly. Utility-wise, yes, it is better to have more screen real estate, I guess, because you can fit more on it. I don't know how much more you need to fit on one of these screens, you know? Like, most of the single screen or, like, the flat screen ones, you can already fit, like, temperature, utilization, clock, and stuff at the same time, or cycle through it. So this one gives you more screen real estate, which I guess there's probably use cases for it, but aesthetically, for something that is supposed to be boosting or increasing aesthetics, it's all preference based anyways. My preference is that this thing is ugly as hell. Let me look at this in a case. I've seen pictures of PCs with this in a PC build. I think it looks out of place. Let me see if I can find a close-up of it. Yeah, every time I see one of these in a build, and again, it might be the newness thing, like, I don't know, man. To me, that looks uglier than just putting a flat LCD on it. But, people can have their preferences. They can build their PCs any way they want. Can I get a good picture of this? Like, please. Is it expensive because of the OLED screen? Is it an OLED? Oh, yeah, it's AMOLED. And then the Thermalright one. What is the Thermalright one? Thermalright one is just... What kind of screen is it? They don't say. The Thermalright one is a 2K 60 Hertz? Okay, I wasn't expecting that. With a 2400 by 1080 resolution? If this is hooked up via HDMI or USB-C, you might actually be able to play Doom on this. Okay. Do we need that higher resolution in our computer cases when we have our, like, I don't know. This is, the idea of these types of screens are somewhat still kind of new-ish. So, for now, I'm not fully on board with them. I don't see the hype, but obviously over time, as it becomes the norm and stuff like that, I might come around to it. I was on board with LCD screens, like, I think, what was it, NZXT was like the first one to do it. Like, I was on board from the start. I was like, holy crap, this is a cool use case. But now that it's evolving into other things like this, I think it's gonna take some time to kind of set in with me. This one is also AMOLED. Oh, it is. Yep, you're right. It's right here. I just need to scroll down a bit longer. So that's why it's more expensive. Well, and dude, that resolution is kind of crazy. This resolution is more than some of the 23, 24-inch monitors that some people have on their desk. And this is all fit into this little 6.67-inch screen. Oh, man. Again, okay, let's run a poll. I'm gonna run a poll on this one. What are your thoughts on these curved LCD, curved in-build LCD AIO monitors? That's kind of crazy to like put that sentence out, that is a thing. Do you like the look of it? And I have a feeling I might be in the minority on this one. I feel like people actually like this. I'm not trying to be what's it called? You know, just I'm not saying that just to like go against the grain. I'm not trying to be a contrarian. It's just I personally don't like it. But we put the poll out. Let's see if people like it or not. Yeah, let me see if I can find a better image of it. How's there not more pictures? Or like higher quality pictures like this. Here is a pretty like generic PC build. Can I open a new tab so I can zoom in? That looks ugly to me. Like the fact that you have a block with only two, I don't know. Is it because it feels like there's stuff missing on the top and bottom and backside? It feels like it should be fully wrapped around, which is, I know it's a big ask to wrap the entire block with it on top and bottom and back too. But this feels like, hey, you're only front facing. As soon as I look on the backside or this top and bottom, it looks like there's stuff missing. I don't know. Something about this looks off. If you guys can word it better than I can't put my finger on it. But to me, and it's not that the rest of the build is making it look ugly. Like, I think the rest of the build is whatever. But just imagine this was all color synced together. Look at this shape. The shape of it, I think, is what it is. That right angle with the radius. Yeah. Not a fan. Oh, well, I guess I'm not in the minority. Almost 70% of the people voting so far doesn't like it. I feel like fully populated RAM slots and tall RAM sticks would block part of the screen. Yeah, they might. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I should. Thank you, Indecline. And others, because on the Discord server, I have... Where's the roles? How can I show the roles of... Where's the list of people? But... I did finally assign people that from this community, whether it be Discord or the YouTube chat and stuff like that, who are helpful. It's Zach, who's also a mod for UFD Tech, but also Indecline, Bug Arsonist, JG Wright, and was there anybody else that I added to that? Let me see. Server settings. Where are these server settings at? But this is just so people can quickly see like their roles. Here we go. PC tech specialist or tech support specialist. So yeah. Oh, I added Chris too because Chris knows what he's talking about. So it's just an indicator for people on the server who do ask tech questions. People who got this role, you guys don't have to spend every waking hour like helping people. Like, it's very nice that you do. But this is just more of a visual indicator so that people know, like, if someone answers and they have this bright orange badge or like highlight name, oh, and Kiwi too, then you can like kind of like trust their input and advice and stuff like that. So I do want to say thank you for the people who are, you know, helping out as much as they can in the Discord server and in the YouTube chat because, yeah, I mean, you're like, that's what we're trying to build up here in the community. I definitely don't want to be the only person that people care about their opinion of. I'm trying to build other people up too as well. So, yes. Thank you. I meant to actually... I put this in place like 2 weeks ago, but I meant to talk about it last week's stream. I just forgot to, so... People always talk about GPUs, RAM shortage. What about the issue about it? And I talk a lot about this. No, I've talked about this in previous streams before. It is really hard to get subjective information about monitors, just because there's so many different SKUs of monitors out there. and so many limited, like, actual testing that goes on with them, right? Like, to test monitors, you need special tools. You need a device that's able to actually, like, not only to color test it, but like to test the actual response rate and response time and refresh rate, gray to gray response and stuff like that. You need like tools that you can't just buy straight off of Amazon. So there's a huge lack of information out there with regards to what monitors people should buy, because I would say off the top of my head, I know of like 4 channels that do in-depth monitor reviews. And of the 4 channels, they can only dedicate so much time to reviewing monitors. And when we go to Amazon and we look up monitors, there's like literally thousands of monitors that all have like similar sounding names and feature sets. So it's really hard to be able to, like, without seeing a monitor yourself and making that subjective judgment, like, it's kind of hard to be like, just look at a spec sheet of a monitor and say, oh yeah, this one's good and it's cheap. Because some people are very sensitive to the fact that, oh, the color accuracy is a bit off, or like the response time is not as good as it actually is. So yeah, I would love, actually, would I love to get into monitor reviews? I've toyed with the idea, but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. As much as like there is a big gaping hole of the need for more monitor reviews just in general, I don't know if the returns are as worth it, if that makes sense, right? Like, versus like the major PC hardware. Like, Hardware Unboxed has their monitors unboxed channel. If they had to pick one of the two, and I know it's not a fair comparison because Hardware Unboxed has been around longer and is bigger, but what's up? Finishing up. But I feel like if you were to start fresh on a YouTube channel and you wanted to pursue hardware, like you know, like actual components for PC building versus straight up monitor reviews, I feel like it's going to be less lucrative with monitors. That's not to say you should only do stuff that, you know, makes you the most money, but money is pretty incentivizing, and people have limited time, so. Yeah, that's what I do too. I am, again, you've probably picked up from either my content or streams and stuff. A lot of people probably have picked up that, like, I'm not a huge stickler on a lot of things as long as it performs most of its primarily, like, you know, purpose. Like, if it puts out a display that is like 90% of the job done, then we can start getting into nitpicking, like color, you know, blacks and whites and stuff like that. But for monitors, I generally, for myself, I don't usually make a ton of recommendations on monitors, and if I do, I put a disclaimer that, like, hey, I'm doing it based off of what I'm reading on the spec sheet. You might get it, and it might have like crappy, you know, edge light bleeding and stuff like that, right? But I generally pick my monitors also on price and on, you know, refresh rate, the supposed color accuracy that they say, resolution, things like that. But I do know that sometimes the budget monitors, they look nice on paper, but when you actually get it, it could end up looking like way worse than, you know, something that's $10 or $20 more. So yeah, that's why I guess one of the benefits of going in person, like to a Best Buy or Micro Center or whatever you have around you that carries monitors, the only issue is that, again, a store can probably carry X number of monitors, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 monitors. And then when you go on Amazon, you have a choice of like 1,000 plus monitors to choose from. So, and stores typically don't carry the brands like KTC and some of the more budget options, right? So then you're locked into only buying like the bigger box names, I guess. Rating. Yeah, ratings. Let me see. I haven't looked at a ratings monitor review in a while. Let's see what they do. But yeah, monitor reviews. Let's take a look at the ROG Swift OLED. And even them, like, do they get all the little smaller brands like KTC and all that stuff too? Okay, well, let's see their testing. Video. Oh, so they do have a video on it, but I want to look at the style, build quality. Okay. The display itself. Where's picture quality? Contrast, local dimming. Okay. This is good to see. Brightness charts. Okay. Viewing angles. I like. Color washout. Okay, so they're actually doing pretty detailed reviews. Uniformity, got it. Color accuracy with the calibrator, good. Where are those Excel looking charts with the... There it is, response time. Okay, they do it. Okay. So, okay, now let's take a look at ratings, and let's take a look at if they do KTC. Let's take a look at... oh, okay, they do KTC discussion. See, do they not have a review? That's the only issue, again. Like, I feel like KTC is kind of a growing brand when it comes to the monitor space. Great specs, great price. When I put in KTC into ratings and try to filter by reviews, there's only discussions. They don't actually review it. There's probably tons of monitors they don't review. So then now you're limited to potentially more expensive stuff because they're not covering more budget oriented. No, it looks like ratings, they do good stuff. But again, they have limited employees, they have limited time. There's too many monitors to review everything. So yeah. Okay, I gotta wrap up in like the next 2 minutes. I did not realize we were 2.5 hours into stream already. Let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything important. Let's see. Let me see if... Ken, I don't believe you're in the chat because I'm adding your name and your username is not coming up unless you're on a different name. I wanted to say hi to Ken, but he doesn't seem to be in the chat. So AIO, do people like to look at the curved ones based on the votes? It's looking like about 2/3, no, not 2/3, what am I saying? Is that 2/3? No, 40-60 split. My god, why is my math so bad? 2/3 would be 66%. No, okay. 3/5 of the people who have voted so far don't like the look of that curved LCD screen, or AMOLED screen rather. And I don't know, I don't like it right now, but I have been known to change my mind on things, you know, as it becomes more of the norm, as prices... And I don't know if price is a factor on that one for me. I just think it looks ugly right now. But maybe they will design future versions to like look better somehow. I just bought a KTC M27 T6S IPS mini LED. Got lucky and only had one bright pixel. What? Oh, sorry. Would you not want to... I guess... I don't buy a ton of monitors, so I don't know what the likelihood of either coming with dead pixels or bright spots are on a typical monitor, but only had one bright pixel. Would that not be grounds to try to return it and get another, or buy another one and then return the worst one, assuming Amazon free returns? I don't know where you bought it from, but I wouldn't return it yet, because if you bought a second one, it might have worse, or it might look worse, right? With regards to either dead pixels or bright spots. So buy a second one, keep the better of the two, because it's free return anyways. Is that not something that you would look into doing? Yeah, for me, it was where I needed to run my 5K monitor above 100 FPS. Most people don't have the same requirements. Yeah. Are you going to change your mind on Twizzlers? Well, Twizzlers... Maybe. People's taste buds change, right? Over time. I actually ate the rest of the Twizzlers because I didn't want it going to waste. But, and nobody else wanted them in the house. But I ate the rest of them. It's not like they taste like dog food, you know? Like, it's edible. So, if I have to get rid of it and eat it to not waste candy or food, I can eat it. But it's just not my favorite. I did have the Twizzler Peel Aways one. The girls got one for Halloween. And maybe it was because it was a different flavor, but the Peel Away ones was slightly better. Not the best, but slightly better than the non-Peel Away Twizzlers. I have a nice ultra-wide IPS. I don't think upgrading is worth it yet. I think I'm due for a monitor upgrade. On this monitor, I don't remember how many years. Melissa got it for me for Christmas, I think in 2020. But it might have been 2021, it might have been 2019. The years start to smear over each other nowadays. But I'm on a ultra-wide TN panel. I would ideally like to be on an IPS. Ultra-wide 1440p, like at least 144 hertz. My monitor still works. That's the only reason I'm not upgrading yet. Like, if I'm getting a new monitor with a better panel at the same resolution and the rest of the specs, for editing, I kind of want IPS because I need color accuracy, and I don't want to always have to move my window to my upper IPS monitor. I think I'm going to have to at least shell out like 300 to 350 bucks. And it's not like the end of the world. That's pretty affordable. But when you still have a working monitor, it's kind of hard to justify, at least for my cheap ass, right? So, I'm holding off on monitors for now until either one of these actually dies or the pricing comes down to like $250 for an IPS ultra wide 1440p 144 or 165 hertz. For sure, it was a chill time. Thank you everyone for being here in the chat. I know Shumi's ending, but on the topic of budget fans, I'm going to buy the Thermalright M12RW. The only bad thing I don't like about them is the center hub vibrates a lot and it's infinity. Oh, you don't like the infinity mirror look to it? Why get this one? Thermalright has so many different fan options that couldn't you find something that does not have the infinity fans? And with regard to the fan hub vibrating, you mean to the point where it makes a sound? I don't know if I've had Thermalright fans that vibrated to the point where they were like noisy. Oh, the vibrating because it's not perfectly centered? Is that what you're talking about? Like when you know when something's not perfectly centered on the hub? It's not vibrating, but it looks like it's oscillating due to it rotating very fast. Oh, wait. Who in the chat was asking me about my server and image and stuff previously? I forgot to talk about that because I haven't talked about the server for a while. But the server's been being a storage server like it's supposed to be. I did get image. I followed some tutorial to install it. I was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't point to a directory to use it as a photo gallery. Essentially with image. So I've already dropped photos and stuff onto my server. And when I installed image, I wanted to be able to say, hey image, because I wanted more of a photo gallery. I don't need a backup of photos I've already dropped onto the server as a backup. I want to be able to point to any location with pictures in it and use it as like a photo gallery similar to Google Images. So I have not figured out how to do that or if that's even possible. It seems like if I do want to do that, it makes a backup of my backup already, which makes no sense. I don't need two backups on the same drives or on the same server, right? You gotta split your backups up. So I'm still kind of messing around with that. But then also, people seem very hesitant to give access to their server to like the open web, which you kind of have to do if you want to access image like on your phone. So now I need to look into like the security side of things to make sure like if I do try to access my photos from my server on my phone, because I'm now opening it up to the open web, that I'm not vulnerable and people can just like hack in and stuff. So it's a learning process, you know, getting the server to work. So yeah. Oh, I can take her. I'll take her. I'm finishing up.
You said that.
Yeah, I know. But if it's because I need to watch her, they will see her for a little bit.
She's scared of Johnson.
Oh, she's still scared? Oh no. Hi, love. You have a nap? Yo, look at this girl with her cool jeans. Look at her cool jeans. Girl, your belly is showing. But yeah, so I'm not sure whoever was asking about the server and image and things like that last time, but that's where I'm at with it. I do like the interface. It does look nice. It does remind me of Google Images when scrolling through all my pictures, but yeah. Pictures of this one and her sister. Hi. I use Plex for my pics and vids. Okay, so didn't Plex have some kind of drama somewhat recently? And I know of people using Plex for their videos. I didn't think about using it for images. Also, is Plex completely free? Is there a completely free tier? Yeah, for sure. I feel like the streams are like the one thing. Okay, so you guys might have noticed. Maybe you didn't because you only come for the streams. But I have not uploaded a video in coming up on a month now. And it's not because I don't want to. I do have projects and stuff that I'm working on the side and stuff like that. But Melissa recently, because she was on maternity leave for like, you know, the first 5 months of these girls being born. But we're kind of figuring out like our schedule and stuff now, because she is going back to work full time, and so we're like way more busy when it comes to watching the girls and stuff, or I'm more busy watching the girls and trying to balance this schedule. But I like the streams week to week because I'm able to do the stream for like 2 to 3 hours and then shut off and be done once a week. When I do videos, I'm putting like tens of 20, 30, 40 hours, whether it be benchmarking, like finding stuff. I do all my own editing and stuff. So videos take me way more time to put out. It takes more planning. It takes more time. Whereas these streams, what we've got going on now, it's like there's always stuff to talk about, right? You guys are always in the chat asking interesting questions, bringing up cool products to look at. So I appreciate you guys giving me a platform to do the weekly streams, to at least put out some content on the channel while I still try to churn out long form videos, because right now the priority is definitely these little ones, and I'm still trying to make everything work. There's a free tier for it, but I have a lifetime pass, so I use it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would look like... I'm not interested in streaming again because I don't have a big backlog. I haven't backed up my movie and TV show collections, or sailed the high seas. So I don't have like a ton of TV shows and stuff pirated, so that I would even want to really stream. So I don't have too much of a use for Plex. You are so chill. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making this so much easier while I wrap up stream. They're not chill when it comes to bedtime. They go crazy. But during the day, I would say these girls are like, they're angels. They're always angels, but extra angels during the day. Hi. You smell like you might have peed. I think I'm going to have to change your diaper. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go have some dinner. I think Melissa made some Japanese curry chicken with potatoes and carrots. Then gonna spend some time with the girls and then put them down for bed. And then I am really trying to get a video out this weekend. I picked up a couple of computers, so it's a pretty interesting pickup video. I picked it up from one of the community members here, actually, in the chat. I don't think he's here tonight, but yeah, I went and picked it up a couple of weeks ago, and I just haven't been able to wrap it up. So I'm trying to get a video out, but if not, then yeah, you guys can catch me on the Discord server. You guys can catch me next week, stream, same time, same day as always. But you guys have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your day, have a great rest of the week and weekend coming up. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Take care, everyone. Say bye-bye, Lexi. Say bye-bye.